I know that the basis of this channel, the base audience of this channel doesn't really care for my political takes, and I respect that. But this is one of those times where I just have to speak out against something. I want net zero immigration to this country, period, for, I don't know, 20, 25 years, just to see how things are going. That means no H-1Bs, no student visas, no illegal immigration, no legal immigration. I want a full stop on everything until we can fix this nation's already overwhelming issues. For example, an entire football stadium of people a year passing away due to opioid overdoses, homelessness problems, better care for our veterans. While we're constantly trying to expand and suckle at the teat of the global economy, we're leaving behind our own population. There's 42 million people on SNAP, for crying out loud. I mean, we need to reform that. And if the real number is anywhere near 42 million, we have a real problem in America. We don't need more people coming in. I'm sorry if this is an extreme take for you, but it's just how I am now. I've been radicalized. And there was a Trump interview last night or the other day that he said just some stuff that I strongly disagree with. They've added some context, so we'll take a look at that, but I don't like this direction whatsoever. And speaking of keeping things clean, huge shout out to Cove Pure real quick before we get into these clips for sponsoring this video. Do you trust the government to make the best choices for your health? The same government that shut down the country during the coup and had some questionable things to say around the jab? Yeah, no. When it comes to my family's health, I'll make my own decisions. Over 70% of Americans are served by water systems that have fluoride added to the supply. Yes, fluoride. You know, the stuff in toothpaste, which you spit out in the sink. Fluoride, which has been linked to multiple studies to cognitive damage and lower IQ scores in kids. So tell us again why the government wants people drinking this stuff. Luckily, Cove Pure is certified to remove up to 99.9% of impurities using the same technology trusted by hospitals. That includes fluoride, yes, but also all the other garbage you'll find in well water as well. PFAs, fertilizer runoff, pharmaceuticals, you name it. The first thing I noticed with Cove Pure is the taste. Guys, this is how water is supposed to taste. Pure, clean, no aftertaste. I actually want to drink more of it. And it's super easy. No drilling or plumbers. Just fill it and press a button. You can choose any temperature you want, hot or cold, and how much you want dispensed. So you're not guessing how much you can drink. Cove Pure helps keep you hydrated with the good stuff. So don't wait for the government to sort out pure water. Do it yourself. Head to covepure.com/quartering, and they're giving you guys a special holiday offer of $250 off Cove Pure. So make sure you grab one before the sale ends. Folks, let's first talk about student visas and H-1Ss or whatever they are. He talks about 600,000 Chinese students. I don't know how many Indian students and students from all across the rest of the world invading our school systems. These are people that don't love America. They're not from America. And they are artificially propping up an education system, quote unquote, that cannot survive on its own and therefore should not survive on its own. It's auto bailouts all over again.
Are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position?
It isn't. You're not making America great again. You're appeasing the donor class. I mean, don't get me started on federal student loans, the predatory student loan program that our government clearly needs to prop itself up. So they'll give any 18-year-old whose parents are foolish enough to co-sign it $100,000 in debt at a very fair interest rate. It is one of the worst programs imaginable.
When so many American kids want to go to school, and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money.
Sure. Not just Chinese, but Indian money, Russian money, whatever, where all these, again, people are coming and filling up our universities. And this is, again, without me getting too in the weeds here, I've talked about this. There are a lot of people who cannot afford to go to college. There are obviously a lot of people who don't need to go to college, and there's obviously a great need for trade schools and things of that nature that should happen. But the cost of college is just too high. Well, how do you get that cost down? Well, the cost of college is artificially inflated by two things. One, the federal student loan program, because they will continue to give students all the debt that they will take, all the debt that they could possibly have, so that these colleges are not incentivized in any way, shape, or form to make prices more affordable. Then what they're doing is they're filling up all available spots with foreign money. Many of these foreigners either pay full price or also take scholarships away from American students. In either situation, the colleges are happy to take that foreign money, and they have this artificial fullness. Now, I don't know why Harvard doesn't just open up a Harvard in India or a Harvard in China if they have so much demand for foreign students. Well, I do know why. So you have the federal student loan program giving students whatever money the colleges say they need. Then you have foreign students filling up these spots. The idea that we absolutely need the number of universities that we have is nonsense. We could probably cut over half of them, and probably should. We're bailing out these universities that are programming kids to hate this country.
Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
Yeah, Laura Ingraham. So, exactly. So buttons on your underwear. Don't care. Let them close. That's what's supposed to happen when businesses fail. And you know what? If these schools had to compete, not only would you get a better education, but you would get a cheaper education. Kids wouldn't be, having to take on generational debt to go get a degree in, mathematics or engineering or whatever the case may be. No, they would be paying a third of what they're paying now. You look at the bureaucracy inside these schools, there's something like 3 bureaucrats to every professor in these schools. They are absolutely bloated. The college system, university system needs to collapse and reform, but the federal student loan program keeps it up, and then they just keep themselves afloat with an endless sea of garbage people who hate this country, who then, by the way, never leave. They're saying, they're going to leave after they're done. No, they don't. They don't leave. And then Trump says this nonsense about H-1Bs, which, again, should be abolished completely. I don't know if he didn't learn from Vivek. Now, they did add some clarity, which I'm going to play. But in this context, in the context of the interview, it is bad.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign
Correct, Laura.
workers. You also do have to bring in talent.
No, you don't.
We have plenty of talented people
you
here.
don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and you have to.
We don't have talent? We don't have enough talent in America. I mean, Trump literally said we don't have the talent. Now, if I take this in the most charitable way possible, he's saying we have an immediate need for, people who have medical training or this, that, or the other thing, blah, 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 blah. And it takes time to train those people up. Okay, well, how about we, instead of having an H-1B program, that's completely unmoderated, basically. I mean, he backed off on the farm workers. He backed off on the hospitality workers. He's backing off on a lot of middle-class jobs or even entry-level jobs that are being gobbled up by foreigners who are willing to be slaves for American corporations. The idea that, we can't train Americans to have these jobs is nonsense. If your argument is that we need these people right now, okay, well, why don't we find a way to massively incentivize training programs and get after it right now? You have DHS Secretary Kristi Noem on H-1Bs Under the Trump administration, we've sped up the process and added integrity to the visa programs, to green cards, to all of that. But also more people are becoming naturalized under the administration than ever before. More people are becoming citizens. I don't want that. I don't want that. No, I don't want any more naturalizations, or I want 30 million. What do you think will do to the job market when you deport 30 million illegals stealing jobs from Americans? Many of which, the fallacy is that these illegals are only taking these jobs, garbage white people won't take, is nonsense. These illegals are taking $70, $80, $90, $100,000 jobs away from Americans. They're taking six-figure jobs. H-1Bs are taking six-figure jobs from Americans. I can promise you, you can point to the comment section in this video. Silicon Valley has been decimated. All these white kids that went to college, okay, and are still paying off their college debt have been replaced with brown kids brown people who will work for a third of the pay and twice as many hours. It is not a skill issue. It is a greed issue. And the thing is, you have Besson come on and say, well, Trump's plan is for foreign workers who train Americans and then go back home. They don't go back home. These people never go back home. This country has millions of people right now who have overstayed temporary visas. You bring in more of these people, you're never going to get rid of them. They're just trying to add sauce to what he said in that Laura Ingraham interview, which I wildly disagree with.
20, 30 years, we have offshored precision manufacturing jobs. And the president's point here is, we can't snap our fingers and say, you're going to learn how to build ships overnight.
I agree. But do we need a bunch of people from India to do that for us? Do we need a bunch of Chinese to come here and do that? No. Americans can learn, and they can learn real quick. You'll have every brain. People will go where the money is. If you think shipbuilding or precision manufacturing are important and you start paying like it is, you will have every American, you will have lines of Americans who want those jobs and who are willing to train night and day to get them.
We want to bring semiconductor industry back to the U.S. There are going to be big facilities in Arizona. So I think the president's vision here is to bring in overseas workers where these jobs went.
Who have skills.
Who have the skills, 3, 5, 7 years to train the U.S. worker.
How will U.S. workers ever get trained if you keep importing hundreds of thousands of slaves? Right? H-1Bs are not for training Americans. This is a lie. This is for the donor class. This is for Silicon Valley. This is for Walmart. This is for Target. This is for all the major corporations to have slave labor, okay? Americans are not being duped by this H-1B, oh, we're only bringing in doctors and lawyers and nonsense. We've met these people. They're not smart. They're not irreplaceable. They're just cheap. And I'm sick and tired of this lie that is ruining this country. Stop all H-1Bs. Stop all student visas. Stop all immigration. And just see how great America can be. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.